After my husband died, his family froze me out. You were just temporary, his aunt said. I said nothing until I opened the safe he'd left me the code to. Inside was a letter and a deed to their family's summer home, all in my name. When I showed up to their reunion and took the keys off the wall, she asked, "What are you doing?" I replied, "Making a permanent memory." Tom died on a Monday. It was early October, not cold yet, but the leaves were starting to fall in big soft piles around our yard in Albany. We had just finished breakfast, blueberry pancakes, something we always did on Mondays because he worked from home. I went and put the dishes in the sink. He said he'd take Daisy out for her walk. 15 minutes later, a neighbor was banging on my front door. Tom had collapsed in the yard. By the time I ran out, he wasn't breathing. I did CPR until the paramedics showed up, but it didn't matter. He was gone. They said it was a heart attack. No one saw it coming. He was 39. The days after were a blur. Everyone was kind, at first. Friends brought food. Our neighbors helped walk Daisy. My sister flew in from Phoenix to be with me. But his family, his mother, his 2 uncles, and Aunt Nora took control the minute the body left the hospital. Nora especially. She talked like a lawyer, cold and flat. "We'll take care of the arrangements," she said. I was in shock. I nodded. I let them do it. I didn't want to argue. I thought we were all grieving the same man. At the funeral, they gave me a seat in the second row. Not even the front. His mother stood with Nora, whispering behind their programs. I could feel the judgment in every glance. When I tried to read the note I had written for Tom, Nora cut me off at the podium. "Let's keep this light," she said, with a fake smile, gripping my elbow too hard. Tom would have wanted joy. I wanted to scream. I wanted to say I knew him better than you did. But I didn't. I sat down and watched them hijack his goodbye. After the funeral, they all went to Nora's house for lunch. I wasn't invited. Not even a text. When I called the next day to ask about picking up some of Tom's things, his old journals, some photo albums, Nora said, "There's nothing here for you." Tom didn't have time to update the will. It hit me like a punch. What? He was busy. We all know he meant well. But legally speaking, there's no guarantee. You were only married 6 years. No children. You'll be okay. It didn't sound like grief. It sounded like they were erasing me. They changed the locks at the family summer home 2 weeks later. No one told me. I found out when I tried to book a weekend there, thinking some fresh air might help. Tom and I had spent every summer there. It was where he proposed. When I called to ask why my key wasn't working, Nora said, "That place belongs to the family. You had your time there. Let it go." I was stunned. I asked her, "Why are you treating me like a stranger?" She sighed, like I was a child who didn't get it. "Because, sweetie, you were just temporary." Those words burned. But I said nothing. Not then. Weeks passed. No one called. No one checked on me. They took down the wedding photos from their Facebook pages. Pretended I didn't exist. I started to believe it. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was temporary. Just a footnote in their perfect family tree. Then, one night, I was cleaning out the closet and saw the safe. It was this old metal thing in the back corner. Tom had inherited it from his grandfather. I'd only seen him open it once. I asked him the code back then, joking that I might need it if he ever got hit by a bus. He told me. I laughed. Then I forgot all about it. But that night, I remembered. I dug through my phone until I found where I'd written it down. The code worked. The safe clicked open. Inside were insurance papers, his ring in a velvet box, and an envelope with my name on it. It was his handwriting. I sat on the floor and cried before I even opened it. If you're reading this, I'm sorry. I should have told them. But I wanted this to be just for you. The summer house is yours now. I put it in your name last year. I didn't want them to have it. They never loved it the way we did. It's where we were real. Don't let them take it from you. Make it your own. I love you. Attached was the deed. fully notarized. Property at Lake George. In my name. I stared at it for a long time. Then I stood up. And I waited. I didn't go to Lake George right away. I planned. I got the deed verified. Took it to a lawyer friend of my sister's. He looked it over twice and said, "This is airtight. It's yours." That was the first time I let myself smile in months. I waited until July. That's when they always did the family reunion at the lake house. Tom told me it had been a tradition for generations, always the second week of July, always the same people, same routines. Bonfire on Friday. Big dinner Saturday. Church on Sunday. Like clockwork. They thought I'd disappear quietly, that I'd let them have it. But I showed up on the Thursday before the reunion. I parked down the hill and walked up with my bag and Daisy. I didn't want them to hear the car. I wanted them to see me standing there. When I walked in, the house was already full. Laughter, drinks, someone grilling out back. I stepped inside and looked around. Same faded curtains. Same ugly floral couch. Same set of keys hanging by the front door, the lake keys, as they called them. Every door and drawer in the house opened with those. I walked over and took the keys off the hook. Nora was in the living room. She turned around and saw me. Her voice got sharp. "What are you doing here?" I held up the keys. "I'm making a permanent memory." You should have seen her face. She laughed. A cold, disbelieving sound. "You're trespassing." "No," I said. "I'm not." I pulled the deed out of my bag and handed it to her. She read the name. Her mouth fell open. Her hands shook. This is forged," she snapped. "Tom would never." "He did," I said. "Last year. Signed, sealed, and filed. It's mine now." Everyone started gathering around. His mom, his uncle, 2 cousins. All of them staring at me like I'd grown horns. "This house has been in our family for 80 years, his mother said. "You don't belong here." Tom said, "It's mine." "And now, legally, it is." They all started talking at once. Yelling, really. Nora was calling someone on her phone. His mom tried to grab the keys from my hand. I stepped back. "You're making a mistake," I told them. "I'm giving you all until tomorrow morning to leave." "Or what?" Nora spat. "Or I call the sheriff and report you for trespassing." She went pale. Because she knew I could. They didn't leave that night. They stayed. Whispered. Tried to come up with a plan. But in the morning, I had a local deputy with me. He looked at the paperwork, made a few calls, then told them to pack up. The look on Nora's face as she loaded her car will live in my head forever. But that was just the beginning. Because 3 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Just one sentence on a single piece of paper. "You'll never be one of us." No signature. Just that. Like it was supposed to scare me. It didn't. It made me angry. So I decided to make the house mine for real. I tore down their old photos. Donated their furniture. I painted the walls, changed the locks, planted a new garden. I made it look like us, me and Tom. I even framed our wedding photo and hung it over the fireplace. But that wasn't the end. One night, I came back from a trip into town and found the back window shattered. Nothing was stolen. But someone had been inside. Someone had gone through my things. They left a note. Same handwriting. "This was never yours." This time, I didn't call the cops. I called a friend who used to do private security. He set up cameras. Motion sensors. I was done being passive. That's when I caught them. 3 weeks later, Nora's son showed up around midnight. I watched from the upstairs window as he tried to get in through the back door. I called the sheriff. He was arrested on the spot. And then the family turned on him. They showed up at my door 2 days later. Nora, his mom, the cousins. "Let's talk," she said. I opened the door just enough. "Talk about what?" "This has gone too far. You broke into my home." "He didn't mean it." "He did. And you all pushed him to." "You don't want to do this," she said. "We can make a deal." I smiled. "There's no deal. This is mine. You made sure I had nothing. And now I have everything you wanted. Then I shut the door. But it still wasn't over. I thought that after they tried to break in and got caught, they'd back off. I figured they'd be embarrassed or maybe even a little scared. I was wrong. A week after Nora and the others came to my door, I noticed strange things. First, it was my mail. Some of it started showing up opened, ripped at the corners. Then packages I'd ordered never arrived. I checked with the delivery company, confirmed drop-offs. Someone was taking them. Then my dog, Daisy, got sick. Real sick. She started vomiting and wouldn't eat. I rushed her to the local vet, and after they ran tests, the vet sat me down and said, "It looks like she ingested something toxic. Rat poison, maybe." I froze. We don't use poison. We live in the woods, sure, but I never leave anything like that out. The vet said she'd pulled through, barely. That it was a close call. That night, I cried on the kitchen floor with Daisy in my lap, and I realized they were still coming after me. Not just the house. Me. I sent a letter to my lawyer the next morning. I wanted a restraining order. Not just for Nora. For the whole family. The lawyer started the paperwork, but she warned me, they're going to push back. These cases can get ugly. Ugly wasn't even close. 2 weeks later, I was served papers. They were suing me, claiming the deed Tom left was obtained under undue influence, that I had manipulated a grieving man, that I had isolated him from his family and coerced him into giving me the property. They had affidavits signed by family members. They even submitted old texts, totally out of context, where Tom vented about family drama. Said he was tired of everyone's expectations. They were trying to twist his pain into something I did to him. It was disgusting. I didn't have the money for a long court fight, but I wasn't going to roll over either. I dug out every bit of proof I had. Emails from Tom talking about the deed. Photos of us at the lake house, fixing it up together. His notes. His handwriting. His voice messages. I had to make it clear this wasn't some con. This was love. My lawyer told me the judge might order a mediation to avoid trial. She was right. Mediation was set for October, a full year after Tom died. We met in a small office in Glens Falls. Me, my lawyer, Nora, and their family lawyer. Nora didn't look at me once. Her lawyer opened with a sneer, "We're willing to offer you a payout if you vacate the property." I laughed. "You think this is about money?" Nora finally spoke. Her voice was low, cold. "You don't deserve that house. You tricked him." "He loved me," I said. "You just hated that you weren't in control." "We are his blood," she snapped. "And you treated him like a burden." He told me everything. How you mocked his career, his choices. How you only called when you needed something. Her face twitched. She wasn't expecting me to fight back. The mediator tried to calm us. "Let's stay civil." I stayed calm. "You want the truth?" "Tom gave me that house because it was the only place he felt happy." "You turned his funeral into a pageant. You didn't even let me speak. You erased me. But you can't erase this." Their lawyer leaned in. "If this goes to trial, it will get ugly. Public." "Are you ready for that?" "I am." "Are they?" That ended the meeting. They didn't settle. But they backed off. For now. But then something even worse happened. I got a call from my lawyer. "You need to sit down," she said. Tom's mother had filed a petition to exhume his body. She claimed she wanted to investigate inconsistencies. That she suspected foul play. I felt like the floor dropped out under me. They were accusing me of killing him. I didn't even know that was something people could do. File a request to dig up a body just to prove a point. But they did, and somehow the court agreed to hear it. My lawyer tried to stop it. We argued that there was no evidence of anything suspicious. Tom had a history of high blood pressure, a family line of heart issues. His death certificate listed it clearly, myocardial infarction. But his mother was relentless. She stood in court with tears in her eyes. shaking hands holding a framed picture of Tom, and claimed she just needed closure. Closure? She hadn't even let me sit in the front row at his funeral. The judge allowed it. I sat in my car in the parking lot and screamed until my voice gave out. They exhumed Tom's body in November. Cold, gray skies. I didn't go. I couldn't. I sat by the lake with Daisy and waited for the call. 2 weeks later, the results came back. No poison. No foul play. Just a worn heart that gave out too soon. I thought that would be the end of it. That maybe, they'd finally leave me alone. But people don't like to be wrong. Especially people like Nora. A few days later, I got an email from a local news station. They were doing a story on family inheritance disputes and wanted my side. I had no idea how they found out, but I knew exactly who leaked it. They wanted to humiliate me, to make sure everyone in town saw me as some gold-digging, home-wrecking widow. And for a while, it worked. People whispered. The grocery store clerk stopped making small talk. The woman who used to sell me candles at the farmer's market pretended not to recognize me. It broke me down. One night, I packed a bag. I told Daisy we were leaving. I couldn't take it anymore. But when I went to grab the keys, I saw the photo. It was the one Tom took of us on the dock. The sunset behind us. My head on his shoulder. His goofy grin. It was the last picture he ever printed out. And I remembered what he said, the day we first visited the lake house together. This place saved me. It can save you too. So I unpacked the bag. And I stayed. I stayed through the cold. Through the looks. Through the whispers. And slowly, things shifted. A neighbor helped me shovel snow one morning. A local baker dropped off fresh bread, said nothing, just smiled. Then one of Tom's old college friends came by. He told me he heard what the family had done. And he believed me. Bit by bit, people started coming back around. Then something happened I never expected. Nora's husband showed up. Alone. He stood on the porch, twisting his hat in his hands like a nervous schoolboy. I didn't let him in, but I opened the door. I'm sorry, he said. I didn't speak. I didn't know she'd go that far. With the body, with the papers. I wanted you to know I didn't agree with it. I nodded. Still didn't let him in. Then he said, she's sick. Real sick. Cancer. Part of me felt nothing. Part of me felt too much. I didn't wish that on her, but it didn't change what she'd done. What she tried to do to me. She asked to see you, he added. Wants to talk. No, I said. She had every chance. He left quietly. I never saw her again. She died the next spring. They didn't invite me to the service. Of course not. But a few weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. From her. It was short. I was wrong. He loved you. That house should be yours. I'm sorry. I read it once. Then again. Then I burned it in the fireplace. I didn't need her forgiveness. But I still kept the ashes. I stayed in the house. I kept it up. I rented the guest room to traveling writers, artists, people passing through. And one summer night, years later, I met someone. A quiet man with kind eyes and a crooked smile. We sat on the dock one evening. I told him the whole story. Every broken piece of it. He didn't say much. Just reached for my hand and held it. I'm glad you stayed, he said. And so was I. Not because I won. Not because I got revenge. But because they tried to erase me. And I wouldn't let them.